and getting the commission created. The Jersey Girls were a particularly aggressive and effective group of the 9/11 survivors to really shame the White House and Congress into creating the 9/11 Commission. And they were very aggressive throughout the investigation in trying to keep the investigation on course. And they were very harshly critical of Zelikow. And they were among the first to sort of go public with information about Zelikow's ties to the White House. They very early on called for Zelikow to resign or to severely recuse himself from involvement in the investigation.
Sibel Edmonds, the translator, interpreter, who was hired soon after 9/11, she ultimately did get a private hearing with the commission. The significance of her testimony, was it considered at all?
I know they heard from her. I don't get the impression they may have taken her as seriously as they perhaps should have, but though they don't address her in any way, they don't address her in any serious way in the commission's final report.
The CIA, George Tenet.
The CIA, it's interesting about the CIA because I do think the commission staff found there were an awful lot of people at the CIA to admire. There were people at the CIA who really understood the bin Laden threat early on and really wanted to see action taken to try to shut down the al-Qaeda network. And Tenet, to his credit, was one of the people who early on does seem to have understood al-Qaeda and was warning, the White House was warning Congress they needed to do more to prepare. Tenet becomes a very controversial figure on the commission, among the commissioners, on the commission staff, because of the concern that he may not have always been telling the truth. They were so concerned about his truthfulness, in fact, that when they held private interviews with Tenet, he, unlike most other witnesses, was required to be placed under oath. They were so concerned about his credibility. Now, I'll tell you that Tenet's loyalists at the CIA say this is grossly unfair, that there was an effort by the commission, and Zelikow in particular, to scapegoat the CIA, and that the commission built an unfair case against Tenet, that his memory was really no more faulty than anyone else's. But the commission staff says that Tenet couldn't recall very important documents, couldn't recall very important meetings, couldn't recall very important events in the course of the months before 9/11 that he should easily have been able to recall.
Why did the commission fail to expose Rudolph Giuliani and his role in the lead-up to 9/11 in preventing the attack? In fact, today is a primary day in New York. September 11, 2001 was another day that the polls were open. Phillip Shenon.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, the commission staff, I guess I should, the commission staff always qualifies this. They say that Rudy Giuliani, on the day of September 11th, performed heroically. You know, he really comforted the city and the nation in a way that certainly the President of the United States wasn't able to. But what happened during the 8 years before that? You know, New York City had been attacked in 1993 by Islamic extremists, and what did they attack? They attacked the World Trade Center. And nobody should have been surprised that the terrorists would return someday and that the World Trade Center might well remain one of their principal targets. During those 8 years, the commission staff found the Giuliani administration had done remarkably little to prepare the city for the possibility of a terrorist strike. And the commission staff drew together a long, long list of questions, tough questions, to be asked of Giuliani when he finally testified before the 9/11 Commission in May of 2004. But the commissioners will acknowledge—
We have 10 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. The commissioners, at the end of the day, were frightened of Giuliani and really only asked him softballs.
Well, Phillip Shenon, we have to leave it there. You certainly don't leave it there in your book. The book is called The Commission, The Uncensored History of the 9/11 Investigation. And that does it for our broadcast. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Berkshire, Hoda Cadusa, Armata Angeli Kama, Jeffrey Hagerman. I'm Amy Goodman. Our website, democracynow.org. We're looking for a TV producer full-time here in New York. Check our website. Thanks for joining us.